Okay, fantastic. So thank you very much for having me here. I will present now Varta, a company who is a battery manufacturer, active since 135 years and stock quoted since 4 years at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. So from the market perspective, we don't have any worries. Battery market is expanding. We all are using day in, day out different formats. It gives us flexibility, it gives us comfort, and many, many more. So for that, we are in a market which is continuously growing. With this, I will dig deeper into the Varta story and will now start to run to the next page, if that is working. Here we are. That is the key messages I want to share, and I will dig deeper, I would say, piece by piece. Varta is built on a stable foundation, so I will take you with me to the story, to the different battery formats and the different use cases. We are still discussing Varta's performance on the 9 months level. So the first 9 months of this year. And to make it short and crisp, we were below market expectations and even below our own expectations. Next, we are in a challenging situation due to macroeconomic effects. So many companies are facing the same situation. So I will dig deeper what is where we are suffering and how we can get out of that situation. First take is we formulated a stabilization plan with immediate measures which are already started in 2022, and in a full swing they will bring us 40 million euros in 2023 on additional EBITDA. And I will give a little bit more clarity, or a lot more clarity, where the 40 millions are coming into the profit and loss account. And of course, I will share our guidance 2022 and 2023, which I would say is a perfect end for, I would say, what we expect for the next year and the years to come. With this, let us jump into the base of our business. What you see over here is two different aspects. The aspect is if we are in a leading position or if we are among the leaders. In a leading position, from left to right, you see a couple of different battery formats. Read that from left to right. I will start with the micro batteries segment. That is the hearing aid business. The hearing aids, we produce around 1 billion cells. We are a global market leader with around 50% market share globally in a duopoly market. We grow that market, and we are super efficient in producing those batteries. Just as an example, we produce those 1 billion cells day in, day out on 3 shifts, 7 days with 10 people. And then comes all the packaging on top, but the pure manufacturing of the batteries that is done by 10 people. So it's really very efficient. The second one is a coin power business. The coin power business is a business where the batteries move into TWS, and those batteries are as well used as hearing aids. In the hearing aids, where I would say the devices are split into the devices who use one-time batteries and rechargeable batteries. The coin power, we were weaker in that year than expected, so I will dig deeper into that segment. But we are the entrepreneur. We have a lot of patents in that business, so we are optimistic to get out of a temporary market. Third, it's a business which is called consumer business. Consumer business, it's a battery formats which you use, for example, in your remote control. It's a AA, it's a AAA business in other formats. Here we produce around 1.7 up to 1.9 billion cells. All of the production is in Germany, let me add that. And we are a market leader in the European business. Among the leading business and segments, we have 2 segments. The first one is a power pack solutions business. That is a business where, for example, we have Miele as one of the most prominent contract partners. So our clients, where we deliver ready for use power packs for the vacuum cleaner. And the second one is energy storage. Energy storage is a business where we store the energy coming from the PV system and gives the end consumer or the house owners more flexibility in using the electricity which they produce by the PV systems on their roof. This business, for example, has tremendous growth, not only tremendous growth opportunities, but our business is growing with more than 50% currently, and we are super optimistic to have as well strong growth in the next year. We were somehow limited by electronic components, which are still, I would say, critical and not so easy to get as volumes from the market with what we need. So we have a order backlog for the next year, which gives us security for at least the first 8-9 months. And we will make, I would say, good growth in the segment. With this, back to the first 9 months. Again, from left to right, you see there is a decline in revenue by 8.3%. Not as drastic as the adjusted EBITDA. And you see the decline is not coming from all the business segments. There is a segment household batteries, which covers the consumer business, and the storage business that is growing, that is significantly growing. And then we suffered in the lithium-ion solutions and micro batteries, and the biggest proportion is coming from the coin power segment. I will come to that later. As this business declined, we suffered, and again, you see the highest proportion is coming from lithium-ion solutions and micro batteries, which declined significantly. A small proportion came from household batteries, but the story behind is totally different. So with this, let me go into the 3 elements which made our life a tough life for this year. First, from left to right, again, energy prices. Many companies suffered, and energy prices kicked in and let our profitability decline. It's hard to absorb, to shift from different energy sources in short notice. So we have to take that. And currently we have some ideas, but not for short notice. On short horizon, we can escape out of that. Raw material prices, clearly, batteries, they need lithium, they need cobalt, they need nickel, they need zinc, and you see how those prices develop. So on short term, we can't escape out of that, because this is, I would say, the DNA of a battery. Of course, we decline cobalt, not only for pricing, but also as from an environmental aspect. But we cannot, I would say, kick it out, because batteries would not work without cobalt currently. And of course, the consumer sentiment is weakened. We all know the reasons for that. We suffer all from that, because that is, for example, the inflation rate, and the consumer sentiment is down, and that hit our market. The TWS market, as a market researcher, it says is down by 50%. We were hit by this. And of course, the market growth for the consumer appliances is -2%, is as well not very helpful. When we look into the aspect and to split it up, what these 3 elements had impacted on our EBITDA. Energy prices, raw material price, consumer sentiment, how much costs one of those 3 pieces each. In total, we lost 220 million euros in EBITDA 2022. The first 2 aspects, that is energy prices with 20 million and raw material prices by 50 million. We partially could pass on those price increases. That is a continuous process. So from that, we are optimistic to decline this effect on our P&L. The second one is the consumer sentiment. It's a consumer sentiment led the consumers buy less of the devices, and therefore the manufacturers decided to as well source less batteries from us. With this, let us look into what is our action plan for 2023 to increase and improve our situation and our profitability. You see, we have three different elements. We start with the top line, we go for the cost measures, and we look at the cost, the cash optimization. So top line, not just a surprise. The levers are price adjustments and volume increases. So first, price adjustments, of course, we intensify our negotiations and our renegotiations with customers to pass through short-term input price increases. We are making progress, but that is not coming in and not kicking in overnight. Volume increases, and this is, I would say, the biggest and the most important part on Coin Power. We started Coin Power sales initiatives, our first technology cooperation with existing companies, customers, and additional TWS value pools. This will offer us or open us, I would say, new use cases to enlarge the production. Energy storage growth initiatives. To continue growth, currently there's not much to do. What we will start next year, a new series of storage systems, which are more powerful, which are slim, which look good for the end consumer, because we end in the cellar of the end consumer. So it should, from the design as well attractive, and from the inside as well, I would say we have a really good product where we can keep the growth story ongoing. So again, what I said, this year more than 50%, again next year more than 50%. So this business will become in short term really an important business for us. Cost down. What we did as an immediate action, we started Kurzarbeit. The German business participants know Kurzarbeit is super flexible, short-time work. It gives you the flexibility to reduce costs, but not to set the people free. So on short notice, you can get back and back. And this gives you the needed flexibility in such a drastic situation. Temporary contracts are not prolonged. So those people left the company. And with this, we in total 500 people are on short-term work, and 200 people temporary contracts were not prolongated. So those costs will be reduced, significantly reduced, and you will see the impact in 2023 in a full swing, starting already now in 2022. And the fixed cost reduction, sales and administration is the next one we will decline, and of course renegotiations with the procurement optimization. That is with the top supplier, we renegotiate the prices and bring down those costs as well. Cash optimization is the last one. Of course, we will, I would say, increase our factoring program. First, we will reduce material stock and inventory. Just as a reminder, early this year, when we started into that year, everybody was cautious and curious if the volume of raw material would be available. So we as well took more material on stock and in inventory as short-term needed. Now we will reduce that, and this will as well bring and reduce working capital. CapEx will be reduced, not I would say to stop our future, but as I would say as a necessary measure to reduce the spending. And we have currently enough capacity on all of our on all segments to deliver to our clients, and even the strong growth in the energy storage system, it's not capex intensive. So from that, this will not limit our future, but it brings, I would say, cash on short term. You might look into, I would say, the V4Drive cell or the round power cells. It's a large format cell, which is designed to go into the e-mobility. We pause that, our expansion plan for V4Drive and round power. So currently we pause to build up a new factory. We look for partners who will give us first security on the demand, what they need on the cells for a couple of years, and then I would say support us with building the factory. So I explicitly say we pause that. It's not on hold. It's not killed that program. It is just that we look at with partners and clear volume commitment to go for the next step with that business. With that, I will jump into the guidance. Clearly, the action plan I described, execution on cost reduction, sales initiatives to bring back Varta into its successful, I would say, days, leveraging installed capacity, strong brand name, positioning growing markets, that will help us. The outlook for 2022 is, you see that 805 to 820 is the revenue, adjusted EBITDA up to 60, CapEx up to 150 million. And for next year, we as well gave already guidance. For the revenue side, you see 850 to 880, adjusted EBITDA 90 to 110. And I just, let me remind you to the bridge, if I take the 60 from this year, add the 40 coming from the cost program, from the optimization program, I will end at 100. So I'm just in the middle of our guidance, and there is no further, I would say, development increase from the operational business. So I would say that is how we bridge it from this year to next year. And of course, we look at the positive cash flow, which should as well enable us for the future to be ready for the next growth initiative, which is definitely ahead of us. Battery business is a business which is growing. There's a great future for that business. Temporarily, we suffer, but I would say stay close to the company, stay tuned, and let's see how quickly we can make it as well a solid profitable company as in the former periods. And you see, financial year 2023 gives you an idea where we want to jump into for the next year. And with this, Matthias, back to you to the questions. I think we have still 10 minutes, so yeah, happy to get your questions.
Yes, excellent timing. We still have 12 minutes and some questions already came in. First of all, so there are some insiders selling the shares of Varta. Why should investors buy now? And do you expect a capital increase or a convertible bond in 2023?
Yeah, the insider trading, I have to differentiate. There is if you refer to the most recent transactions, I have to explain that is based on a stock option program. So there is no real insider trading behind. Let me explain how the stock option program runs. It is funded by our majority shareholder, Dr. Theuner, who gave to a certain and limited number of managers the opportunity to go for shares at a fixed price. And you see that every I would say execution on that we have to make public. It's not an insider trading. Those shares move to managers, or they are sold and the money goes to the managers. So this is not that the main shareholder is declining his stake. He currently is invested with 50.3%, so he is still a majority shareholder. And what I get back from his from a conversation with him, he wants to stay at that level. So second part of your question is capital increase, convertible. We are currently not looking into those options. We are, I would say, is solidly financed. We are currently in discussion with our banks to prolong, I would say, the details on the loans. But currently, up to now, I have I would say no idea on those two elements.
Mm-hmm. A question from a different viewer: is Varta also working on Fe phosphate batteries?
Fe phosphate batteries. I can't answer that. Sorry. There are so many different chemistries. I know that our R&D department is looking into solid state in other formats. But what I know as well from our R&D specialists, that lithium ion will be the dominant, I would say, chemistry for the foreseeable future. We still have a lot of options and opportunities to increase energy density, and it is always a mixture of different parameters which need it to work perfectly hand in hand. So from that, I can say, if it's an interesting tool, our R&D department will look into that. Lithium ion will be the chemistry for the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm. And can you say how big the revenue of the newly launched big storage batteries segment is in compared to the total revenue?
Yeah, that is roughly around 100 million, what we do on revenues on that already for full year. And you see it becomes more and more important for the full group.
Mm-hmm. And what is currently happening to the V4 drive?
The V4 drive, yeah. As I said, I did not spend so much time on that because we paused that. We announced formally to build up a factory with 1 to 2 gigawatt hours. That would cost us, it's a current level of all the cost increases at around 400 to 500 million. That is currently out of range. So we look for partners. So we do not stop it from the technology perspective. We have a pilot line up and running. They produce 10,000 cells a week, 10,000 cells a week. And this is not yet in a full swing. And those batteries are tested in real cars because we already have a client, an auto client. And you will see that in 2024. Built in a car, and because that is a contract we already signed. So from the technology, we did not stop. We go on. We further develop that tool, but currently we need, I would say, a partner first to build up the plant with 400 and 500 million to invest, and secondly, we need a clear commitment from an automaker to make it very easy from an automaker. Some of batteries they take from us over a certain period. You know, those contracts are typically 7 years contract, and we can't currently go into a risk position where we start to build up a plant and then look for a customer, and then the customer signs for 3 years and then they go for an alternative. This is not a business case. We can't calculate that. So if we can solve those two, I would say, elements, we are back in the race.
Mm-hmm. And a completely different question from a different participant. So is Varta also thinking about investing in resource companies to secure raw materials, for example, in Canada, lithium, cobalt, or nickel?
Resource currently not. That is not really a target for us because the volume is not, I would say, large enough to really be, I would say, a powerful partner or an investor into that. ESG will get stronger because we know that there are certain percentages coming from legal authorities which I would say define how much recycled material you have to use. So that is an area which is definitely of more interest. But for sourcing, I would say our volume is too small.
Okay. And currently, the last question: how do you expect the business proportion in the e-mobility sector to be in the following years of 2023 to 2027?
Yeah, as I said, we have that one contract with a prominent car maker, with a sports car maker, which is a great success, but others currently are still in negotiations. So I can't foresee if we can sign that in the near term. And if that is signed, then again, we need to solve those two elements we already discussed. So it is very, very open. We are there. We have the product. The product is working. The product is superior to others. It is rapidly in taking energy and giving back the energy. The inner resistance is low, so it only gets hand warm. There are a couple of parameters were super interesting for the car makers and for the power pack makers, for example. So we are optimistic that our product is really making the difference. But I can't foresee once the contracts are signed, and so I dare not to give I would say an outlook how much shares that could be in the future. It could be huge, but currently I can't promise that.
Okay. And regarding an M&A strategy, do you have certain targets, or what is your current strategy in M&A for the coming years?
Well, Varta traditionally is not a strong M&A player in the market. We did that one acquisition of the consumers. That was an occasion because we paid less than 100 million for a 300 million business. And so that was really, I would say, an occasion for us. And it was a company which we knew inside out, because in former times we were united. So we reunited the two pieces, and that was really a one-time opportunity. We have a deep value chain. So we do a lot of things by our own. That means, for example, we stamp the bodies of the batteries. We produce the anode and the cathode and so on. So currently, nothing is missing to make it very, very short in my answer. And I would not expect that we are aggressively M&A player in the market.
Mm-hmm. And maybe as one last question, can you comment on the current relationship with Apple and the airports, which led to declining revenues in the last year?
Yeah, it does not came really as a surprise, because I would say every manufacturer is looking for a second source. So that came in. Actually, it took a while for the second source to get qualified on that, and we currently suffer from that. But it's more that the market sentiment currently is not a perfect situation for us. So for that, Apple is a perfect client. We have nothing, I would say, to add on that side, but clearly we work on broaden and widen our client base, as everybody is doing. But second sourcing is I would say a standard which we don't have to comment. We have to live with that, and we look at our client base and to be an attractive supplier to everybody.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much, Bernhard. Great.
Thank you, Matthias.
And
thank you
for all the answers. So many questions. I hope to see you next time again. And thank you very much.
Good luck for you and the team. Thank you. Bye-bye.